Hello wrestling fans, the Wrestling Wizard here and welcome to another video. And in this video, we're going to talk about Liv Morgan and why I personally feel it is the right time for WWE to commit 100% and go all in on Liv Morgan and make her a main event Women's Champion. I personally don't care if it's the Raw or SmackDown Women's title, but make her champ. There should be a petition that we signed to make Liv Morgan a champion of some sorts, because it's absolutely crazy to think that Liv Morgan has never been a champion at all, at any level. And she's been in WWE for nearly 7 years, so absolute criminal. And yes, there was some justification at the top level, which we'll get on to in a moment, but she has improved dramatically through the years. You think all the way back to 2015, yes, that's going back some, and the start of some of her televised debuts on NXT. She wasn't even called Liv Morgan at the time. She went under a brief spell of being called Marley. And she was losing to the likes of Eva Marie. I mean, who jobs to Eva Marie? I mean, that's not a great start at the start of your career, is it? However, we saw the full Liv Morgan effect in NXT. We really saw that character, charismatic, athletic, great look, loads of confidence, serious potential. And that potential was carried on, of course, into the main event roster, where we saw the birth of the Riot Squad alongside Sarah Logan and Ruby Riot, who's now Ruby Soho in AEW, doing fantastic things over there, which I'm so grateful for. Somebody appreciated her talent. And of course, they continued on. They were dominant, but never actually got what they fully deserved, which is actually some titles. And then we saw a brief stage where she went away. And this was shortly after WWE was seemingly going to pull the trigger on Liv Morgan in singles competition. Remember when she had that match up against Charlotte, and then Charlotte destroyed her? We saw this brief destruction and meltdown. We all thought she was going to return in some dark, sinister twist. And I personally thought she was going to return alongside Bray Wyatt and be Sister Abigail or something along those lines. We know eventually that went to Alexa Bliss. And then we saw her get involved in some random storyline alongside Lana, which I wasn't a fan of. Also, look how well Bobby Lashley's done since that storyline as well. And then, of course, once Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan had their time again as a tag team, because obviously Sarah Logan was released and then Ruby Riott was left. They formed as a tag team and then Ruby Riott was released. And then we saw a gradual build in the singles picture from Liv Morgan. And she's done phenomenally in a short space of time, in my opinion. She really has. And I know the critics will say she's not the best in the ring. She's not the best performer. She's not the best on the mic. But nobody's perfect. Nothing's perfect. And I think she's shown more than enough, especially recently, to deserve that main event scene. I really feel that Liv Morgan has improved dramatically, especially recently. And you've got to remember, she is only 27 years old. Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, the likes of them lot, you know, they're in their mid-30s. They're in their prime. You think where Liv Morgan could be in 8 years' time. It's crazy to think that. And she really has improved. And let's not deny the fact that she's extremely likeable, extremely popular, and she connects with her fans. She's passionate about her fans, and especially her younger fans as well. And it's so easy to look at WWE and go, oh, well, that's only for kids. But you think you were a kid once, or still are, and you like to build and invest time within your characters over many years. It takes sometimes. And I feel that Liv Morgan really has that support. Before, it was very stop-start with Liv Morgan. They wanted to put her into that main event scene, but she wasn't quite ready, and there's something holding WWE back. But now I feel like they found the right lane with Liv Morgan. If you could sum her up now, you'd say she's charismatic, she's definitely that underdog, and she's athletic. Before, you'd kind of think, one week you'd see this like crazed version of her, and then she'd come out like she was in a wet t-shirt contest. clearly them trying to appeal to the male audience there. And now I think they've really found this hybrid that works. And you think of the top characters at the very top level, you can identify with them very easily. Think of the likes of Charlotte Flair. 3 words to sum up Charlotte Flair: villainous, arrogant, dominant. Dominant heel champ. And with Liv Morgan, WWE, if they book it correctly, can go down the traditional route and get it right. To me, WrestleMania always felt like you had that heel champion and then you had that chaser as a face. And Liv Morgan is definitely that chaser. And I personally have her win the Royal Rumble and go on and face the main event champion, ideally Becky Lynch, and get a redemption 1-to-1 with Becky Lynch. Could also be a triple threat match. Bianca Belair could be included in that also. Or, she wins the Rumble. She's got the option of facing Charlotte Flair over on the SmackDown side. And, we all know there's history there going back to that matchup where she was broke down. Now she's this strong, dominant character who's only constantly improving. And then she gets the win over Charlotte Flair. I personally feel they'd probably go down the Becky Lynch route. Makes more sense as they've got recent history together at the moment. And obviously they're working a program currently. And you always want to feel like Liv Morgan's the thorn in Becky Lynch's side. She can't get rid of her. Just as she thinks she's got rid of her, she wins the Rumble and then goes on to challenge her. That would be personally how I book it. Be really interesting to hear your thoughts and opinions, how you feel WWE should best book Liv Morgan. Do you think she should be champ? Give the video a like if you think she should be. I see no reason why not. And WWE, what's the point in investing all this time in Liv Morgan if there's not going to be a payoff? Now, I personally think it went like this. First Raw Women's Championship title matchup she got against Becky Lynch on Raw was a trial. And day one, the rematch, but let's not forget, she lost that to dodgy antics from Becky Lynch with her hands on the ropes. Day one was her main trial in WWE's eyes, and I personally think she passed with flying colours. Performance was fantastic, her in-ring ability. She really carried the match very, very well, in my opinion. She sold some of her moves fantastically, and she's improved so much, not only in the ring, but on the mic and as a character in general. And I think she passed there, and I think that was her trial from WWE, really on the main event stage. And I think Becky, unquestionably, has got to be happy that she's doing well, because you've got to remember when Becky Lynch went away to give birth to her kid, one of the last things she said was to Liv Morgan, when I come back, I want to see you champ. So if you've got somebody away from kayfabe who's invested in pushing you, who is the current champion, then they're going to want to put you over, and they're going to want to put you over on the grandest stage of them all. And I think Becky Lynch would do that. Now, unfortunately, there is a few potential banana skins along the way when it comes to Liv Morgan, and the first one being Ronda Rousey. You know what Vince McMahon's like. Main event stars, main event attractions, money, money, money. Understandably, if Ronda Rousey were to return, she'd want to get a revenge on Becky Lynch, and she'd want to get a revenge on the grandest stage of them all, the big money match between big time Bex and Ronda Rousey. And I do worry if they prematurely bring back Ronda Rousey, because I think that's what it would be at this point. Liv Morgan will get pushed to the back of the queue and Rousey will get that matchup, because of course Rousey lost at WrestleMania 35 to Lynch. And that was the last time we saw her, and she's justified to get a rematch. And she is a top event draw, not just in WWE, but in the world. And Vince will be having saliva coming out of his mouth at the thought and the prospect of that matchup. Also, Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair, this recent episode of Monday Night Raw, has made her intentions clear. She wants to face Becky Lynch. She wants the Raw Women's title. And as much as I like Bianca Belair, I believe she's already had her time. Back last year at WrestleMania, when she got that face victory against Sasha Banks for the women's title. Yes, she lost the title to Becky Lynch, a returning Becky Lynch at SummerSlam. However, at this moment, in my opinion, it's Liv Morgan's time. Bianca Belair can have her time another point during the year. I think there could be some character changes down the line for her as well, and we'll go through a different video on that. But I do hope WWE follow through. I honestly believe this is their plan at the moment with Liv Morgan, is to make her champion and get that victory against Becky Lynch on the grandest stage of them all. Doesn't have to be on the grandest stage of them all, but that's just how I book it. Personally, if Ronda Rousey is going to come back, she can face Becky Lynch and get a revenge, but wait until SummerSlam. Invest some time down the line rather than just get to the front of the queue ahead of Liv Morgan and get that matchup. I think that would be the way to book it. Liv can drop the title at some point down the line, that's fine, but give her her moment. She definitely deserves. Thank you so much for watching the video. Be really appreciative as always if you could like the video. It really helps this channel grow. Share the video, subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you in some new videos.